everybody, so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to stay secure on Windows 7 in 2021. So if you can, you should really upgrade your computer to Windows 10. Windows 7 is getting more insecure day by day, and it's not making sense to use, even with extended security updates and with POS embedded. Because POS embedded is ending support soon, and Windows 7 in general is just getting an outdated NT kernel. Visual Studio Code isn't supporting 7 anymore. Python isn't supporting 7 anymore. C++ isn't supporting Windows 7 anymore. So you aren't going to be getting any updates for any coding language. But if you're running older ones, that you'll be fine. But that's not what this video is about. So what are some things you can do to stay secure on Windows 7? So before we get into that, you should really install a new operating system. I'm going to say it again. Now, an operating system I would recommend is Linux Mint. So, Linux Mint is a Linux distribution that is built for Windows users to get used to Linux. So, as we can see, the start menu looks very good. In my opinion, this looks better than the Windows 10 start menu and Windows 7 start menu. So, don't get Linux confused as an off-brand Windows. Linux Mint can do more, if not the same as Windows 10. So it even comes with its own Office suite, which is LibreOffice. Now I actually use LibreOffice on my desktop and my laptop. It works great on Windows 10 LTSC, and overall LibreOffice is just a great choice if you don't want to spend $4,000 on Microsoft Office. So on Linux, you do have to install the Microsoft formats. So you can get Times New Roman, Arial, and all the Microsoft fonts you could possibly need. Linux Mint is a great option for school and a great option for lower-end computers. So if we head over to System Info, we can see that it can run on 2 gigabytes of RAM. So it requires 12 gigabytes of storage to run. So if you only have, like, say 30 gigabytes on your hard drive, you can install the operating system, get a web browser like Chrome and all that up and running, but I would recommend Firefox since it's way less hungry on RAM. There is a Chrome extension you can get called the Great Suspense, which can suspend Chrome tabs after a certain amount of time. I would recommend it. So this can run on very lower end systems. Now I assigned to my CPU only 2 cores out of the 8 cores that it has right now. So it's running very, very well right now, as you can see. So overall, this is a great distribution. So things might take a little while to load up, but that's only like a one-time thing. So if we close Firefox and reopen it up, it's going to open up faster this time, as you can see right there. So your computer isn't going to run like a new $1,500 computer. It still is going to be a little choppy, but with Linux, it's going to be less choppy, and you're going to get security updates. And matter of fact, you're going to be getting way more security overall using Linux. Linux is very prone to viruses, and even if a virus is made, the community patches it so fast it's not even funny. It's just amazing how fast malware can get patched on this operating system. Now, if you're new to Linux, I would recommend watching the Linux Experiment, Linus Tech Tips, and Chris Titus Tech, because all those people go over how to use Linux, what Linux is, and in general, they just go over why you should use it, how to get into it for gaming. Now, even if you're a gamer and just sick of Windows 10, I would actually recommend Linux. I dual boot Windows 10 LTSC and Arch. I like using Arch for a lot of stuff, but I need Windows 10 for my online school because locked down web browser and spyware. Those are the only two things stopping me from using Linux full time. So let's get back to Windows 7. Alright, so we're back in the Windows 7 virtual machine. So what are some things you can do to stay secure on Windows 7? First off, make sure your web browser is up to date with Google Chrome. I do not recommend using Internet Explorer because it's just very out of date. You can't get extensions, you can't get ad blocks, you can't really do a lot of stuff. A lot of websites don't even support Internet Explorer anymore. I would recommend Google Chrome, but the thing with Chrome is that it ends support soon. So as we can see, the latest version of Google Chrome right now is 93.0.4577.63. So Google Chrome is dedicated to keeping it up to date until January 12th, 2022. It might be the 13th or 14th, I'm not 100% sure, but you get the gist. It's ending support in January 2022. So what can you do after Chrome ends support? Well, you can download Firefox. Firefox is a great web browser, and overall, I would say it's better than Chrome. Now, I use Chrome for the simplicity of everything, because I got all my extensions, all my bookmarks, I have Google Password Manager, because I've been using Chrome for years on end. So having Chrome, in my opinion, is just more convenient for me. But overall, I would say Firefox is definitely still the better option sometimes. It has way better tab utilization. Now, you can get the great suspense for Firefox, so you can still manage your tabs and suspend them all. So Firefox has gotten great over the years, but it can sometimes get a little RAM hoggy when you have like 400 tabs open. So with Chrome, I believe it's a little more optimized on Windows 7, but let's see how much RAM it's currently using right now. So we're using almost 2 gigabytes of RAM. What happens when we close Chrome? It goes down. So we also have CCleaner. So what CCleaner can do is, even I use this on my main computer. It's like, so basically, to put it into perspective, it's a cleaning software. So what it can do is it can scan your registry, it can clean everything. It even comes with a driver updater, but I don't have any drivers since I'm on a virtual machine right now. So it can clean the registry, it can clean the tools. It has tools you can use, and it has options you can do. So let's do a health check on our computer. So it's going to be a little slow because I'm on a virtual machine. Alright, so we got the gist of CCleaner. So something else I would recommend you do is download Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes is a great antivirus. If you can get Malwarebytes Premium, that's a great thing. Malwarebytes Premium will keep you secure for God knows how long. It has great anti-malware solution, and back when I still used to pay for Malwarebytes Premium, it saved my ass at least multiple times from ransomware and phishing attacks. I don't pay for it anymore because it got, personally, in my opinion, a little too expensive. But if we head over to Chrome, Malwarebytes is actually running a back-to-school discount. So it goes from $40 a year for one device to $23 a year for one device. I'm really considering buying Malwarebytes for my main desktop again because of how good of an antivirus it was. So what happens if you can't pay for an antivirus? So Malwarebytes free is actually still pretty good. So when your free trial runs out, it's only going to become a scanner. So it's not going to have real-time protection anymore, but you can still use it to scan for unwanted files. So what I use on my main computer and laptop is Windows Defender, along with Malwarebytes around twice a week to scan my files. So this is a pretty good duo I recommend anyone to use. So if you want, antiviruses I would recommend are Avast, AVG, which are owned by the same company, so they're practically the same damn thing, or Microsoft Security Essentials. Now, Security Essentials is honestly a hit or miss for me. It's gotten way better over the years, but overall I still feel like there's some work that could be done to it, and Microsoft is still updating it till 2023. So you can have guaranteed support from an antivirus till 2023. And it, for the most part, it does pretty good. It can block some ransomwares like Hello Kitty and other ransomwares. I forgot the name of them because I'm like half awake right now. But it can, so for the gist of everything, it can do everything a regular antivirus like Avast could. So I would recommend Malwarebytes and Avast, or AVG, or Security Essentials. So another thing we can do is make a standard account. So the way you would do that is you would want to go over to accounts. So in my opinion, I feel like this is the most important thing of all. Make sure your account is a standard user. So a lot of reason why people get malware attacks, even on Windows 10 and 8.1, is because they're logged in as an administrator and not a standard user. So when you're an administrator, you can do everything with the computer's consent. If you want to delete files, you can. If you want to install programs, you can, and no questions asked. But when you're a standard user, it's basically a more locked-in operating system. Whenever you install a program or want to open up a file, it gives you it makes you type in the password of the administrator. So you want to head over to Control Panel, User, Accounts and Family Safety, User Settings, and Manage Accounts. So from here, you want to go to User Accounts. So we want to create. So let's go to. So I'm going to create a password for the account real quick. So we're just going to create a password so I can show you guys. Alright, so my administrator account now has a password. So I will log in on my standard user account. Alright, so we are now on the standard user account. So if we head over to control panel, user accounts. I am now on my ColMV account, which is a standard user and password protected. So let's go to File Explorer, for example, and let's say this right here contains a Bitcoin miner and a Trojan. So it doesn't, because it's CCleaner, it's not going to include anything bad in it. So let's say we open it, or we want to install the file. So as we can see right here, you have to type in the account of the administrator. So this can block a lot of malware, especially with an antivirus. So it gives you the opportunity to think twice before downloading something. So let's go to something else, for example. So if we want to go to the group policy, to edit group policy, you do not have permission to perform this operation. So a lot of what malware can do is it can go into the group policy editor and change the permissions for a lot of stuff. When you're on a standard account and they run a batch file in the PowerShell, it's not going to give them permission to install the operation. So as we can see with this demonstration, let's try opening the registry editor. So the local policy editor. So that's just like the local policies you can do on the account, but like the group policy editor is the whole thing. So let's go to registry editor. Apparently the registry doesn't exist. So you can still open the registry as a regular user. So security cannot be opened. It errors from this key from being opened. So you can't do anything with a standard user. So you can open registry editor, but you can't mess with any of the keys. So if I want to create a new DWORD 32-bit value, I don't have the permission to create a DWORD 32-bit value. So as you can see with the standard account, it's basically a locked down operating system, and it keeps you safe. So this will make it very hard for a lot of malware to run through any operating system. So let's get into one of the last things you do. Make sure you keep your computer up to date. I shouldn't even need to say this. So downloading all the updates up until January of 2020 is very crucial to making sure your computer is safe. So just install every update, like all the optional updates and all the important updates. So after you do that, I would recommend enabling the Windows firewall. So with the firewall, it's basically what it does. It's built in to Defender. So you have a firewall as well. I can't do anything with it right now because I am logged in as my standard user. But I can go to my administrator account and I can change everything. So only use your administrator account when you want to change something like a group policy, a registry key, or you can do almost everything else. But I believe it can get even more locked down than that, so you can't delete files, I'm pretty sure. We try to delete. So we can put it in the recycling bin. I'm not sure if you can delete files. Okay, yeah, I stand corrected. You can delete files. So, yeah, so you can do a lot of stuff on the standard user account as well. You can make and delete files, but you can also adjust it too, to where you can't even install or delete files. But I don't recommend you go that far, because you literally probably won't even be able to use your computer. So I recommend doing all these. Now, one thing you could do is try to get an ESU. So head over to Chrome. Now, I'm not supporting software piracy, but it is crucial if you want to try and survive on this operating system. So you can download it from here. Now, I've tried this when it first came out in 2020, and for the most part, it worked up until of May. So, but the thing I don't like about this is you have to get a new ESU every single year. Microsoft does this to prevent piracy of their software. So, what do I conclude from this? Windows 7 is still usable in 2021, but not for long. If you have an older computer, definitely do all these, or try to install Linux. If you don't like Mint, well, you can just change your desktop environment. Now, I can't explain everything about Linux in this one video. There's like 100,000 things. Like, this video could last for an hour if I explained everything about Linux, how to use it. Watch the channels I recommended: The Linux Experiment, Linus Tech Tips, Chris Titus Tech, and Tech Hut. You will learn a lot about the operating system. You'll learn about Arch, Debian, Solaris, every single Linux distro you could want. You can make it look like Mac OS, Windows 98. There's so much options you can do. Now, personally, I use Arch because you need to have the AUR, you have the repository, and you have a lot more things you can do on Arch. It's way more free than Debian. With Debian, you're locked in with the apt package manager. There's not really a lot you can do on Debian. I mean, it's still a great Linux distro, and that's what Linux is based off Debian. It's more meant for beginners. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, drop a like and leave a comment, and if you want, subscribe.